Hey guys, so I'm back with days 6 to 10 of my Ropeflow journey. At this point I'm watching day 6 and I'm trying to familiarize myself with the dragon roll. It can allow you to transition from one move to the next, like really nice resting period. It is enjoyable to transition, that much is true. But you also have to understand the ropes so that you don't end up hurting yourself. It can really swing and snap and smack you in the face if you're not too careful. I really love the underhand figure eights because of the uppercut effect. Maybe one day you can actually hold a baseball bat or maybe a golf club and just have the nicest swings ever. And I mentioned in days 1 to 5 that when I learned about the matter wheel, you just have to control yourself because it's so fun to spin it and twirl it over and over just as fast as you can. However, if you're starting with a heavy rope, which I don't recommend, you have to be very careful with the matador wheel because one wrong move in there can actually damage your wrist or hurt you or maybe sprain you in some way. Not as much of a threat if you're using a light rope at this point, but it still is something to take note of. You need to understand how to control the ropes first before you really kind of like speed things up. Oh, now I know. I learned on day 6 that I can actually transition from the underhand figure 8 to the overhand and back just by turning myself 180 degrees. The motion of the rope doesn't change, but because the direction where you're facing is changing, then you can change into a different stroke. For day 7, I tried to practice my sneak. This is the overhand sneak, and I made this mistake in the previous days 1 to 5. I thought it was the underhand sneak. I just got familiar with the underhand sneak yesterday, so that was day 28. I realized that I wasn't bending my elbows enough. I wasn't bending my elbows at all. I should learn to do it, but of course, not without effort. An overhand figure 8 in the front first, and then swinging, opening your arms, but quickly bending your elbows towards your back was such mind-bending for me. But with more practice, you can actually understand how this goes, because if you do bend your elbows so that you get that perfect sneak execution, you can see how more fluid the rope becomes, and when it switches, it just has a loop that is a perfect rainbow. I still tried to practice my dragon rolls. It just gives a little bit of a strain on my knees. The dragon roll, I think, is touching a different muscle that I haven't used for the most part of my life. I like it because it strengthens that part, or my joints are kind of better because of that, but I also have to be very careful because I end up having a little bit of a strain like for about 2 days, probably the twisting or too much of it because I've been doing this for close to 2 hours every time. I don't have any practice indoors. The only time I can do Ropeflow is when I go out, and that is why I make the most out of it. The sneak can be really frustrating at first, especially if you're trying to practice doing it on both sides. What I did was to kind of like try to walk from time to time just so I wouldn't feel so bored doing it or frustrated. It's more of the frustration because it takes a lot of practice to make this a fluid movement. I kept on posting everything about my beginner journey. I didn't care however correct the execution was because that's the whole point. I was a beginner. But at this point, I was just trying to really improve because I already know how to do it. I just wanted to be able to improve doing it this time on both sides. So now let's go to day 8. Day 8 is the time where I really started walking. I was still doing the overhand sneak on day 8, but this time I'm really trying to walk. Probably it took me about 3 to 4 days to focus on just the sneak, and on the rest of the other days I would sneak it in. I would sneak it in the steps just to kind of like practice again. Joanna, my friend who introduced me to Ropeflow, actually told me that the overhand sneak is very nice to do while you're trying to ponder on life. So while you're walking or kind of like focusing on something, thinking of something, you can actually do it and just like, enjoy the flow. I've been enjoying transitioning the dragon roll together with the matador wheel, and then quickly to the overhand figure eights, and then left dragon roll. So I would have a right dragon roll, and I was able to practice also doing the left dragon roll. So the swing is just like towards the left or towards the right. I try to practice more so that it's even. Both sides of your body can have the same strength. Or I think day 9 was the first day where I've actually been combining a lot of moves already, basic moves, and with a little sense of fluidity, if that makes sense. One of the reasons why I love the matador wheel is that you can actually just keep to the matador wheel and just enjoy the twirl, but at the same time, it's a nice way to blend together two different movements. Like, I've been doing the left dragon roll and the right dragon roll, and the transition to connect those two would just be with the help of the matador wheel. I still haven't tried doing Ropeflow with the music. I just had to focus on the drills. And day 10, I also tried to familiarize myself with the one-hand movements. I learned this from Slush Ropes. I think I've tried to copy her slushy roll, but at the same time, I was introduced at this point to Kinwire athletes. And also during this whole day 6 to 10, some of the Ropeflow community have been reaching out to me and telling me where to look for drills. The good thing about it is that you have more options. I learned more about these guy Instagram accounts that I really love doing, like Elias Broker and of course Kinwire athletes. I like doing the single hand moves where you can actually do a roll in front of you and then switch to behind you, but right near the small of your back, and then also behind you but right behind your shoulders. Those kinds of movements will activate different parts of your muscle, different bones. I would still try to practice the sneak even if I already know how to switch from left to right. I will still try to insert that because in day 10, I'm hoping that one day I can actually flow. If you give me a song, I can actually just flow to that song, because that was the goal, to actually enjoy this. If you have moves where you can think that that's perfect for the beat, unless you know that, then you won't have enough, and it will bore you if you don't have a lot of those tricks up your sleeve. So my goal is that every day I will have that unique step to learn, no matter how simple it is. But at the same time, I'm still gonna practice my dragon rolls, my overhand sneaks, and the transition from the underhand figure eight to the overhand figure eight. So that's the entire thing that happened with my day 6 to 10 on Ropeflow. It's really fun. I'm really getting hooked. Officially, day 6 to 10 was a time when I've really realized, hey, this is something for keeps. So I hope that you learned a lot on my day 6 to 10, and I hope that this has helped you. And if you have any similar experiences or anything you want to share with me, please feel free to let me know. And if you haven't tried Ropeflow, I suggest that you take a look at my other videos that I've done. I've had beginner videos and 5 reasons why you should start Ropeflow. It has helped me a lot. It has helped me combat a lot of my anxiety and depression. And at this point where everything is so heartbreaking and so messed up, I just feel like this is a really, really good thing for me, and this is really helping me big time. Recently also, the Philippines has been going through a lot of natural disaster, and this year has been, you know, any other word that we can use to describe 2020 will always be an understatement. I try my best to center myself using Ropeflow. And again, thanks a lot for watching and staying with me until the very end. I hope that you are safe, and if you need to go out, please wear a mask. Thanks a lot for watching. See you again soon. Bye.